Hi, I'm Stephen Votino. Welcome to another episode of the Relentless Grind. I am here with our agent, Jennifer Justafort from our Raleigh office. Hi, thanks for joining us. And
Thank
today we're going
you.
to talk about working with investors. And Jennifer, why don't you kick it off by telling us a little bit about yourself?
Hi, everybody. Thank you, Stephen, for having me. My name is Jennifer Justafort, and I'm with Century 21 Triangle Group. And I love real estate. I love investment properties. I've been in the investment world for close to 20 years personally myself, me and my husband. And yeah, it's just something that I truly enjoy. And so I'm so glad to be here.
Great. And you joined us back in July. Is that right? Or
Yes.
you got licensed back in July and then joined us later? I can't remember.
Correct. So I got licensed in July of 23 and signed right in, hung my license with Century 21 Triangle Group, and there ever since.
There you go. And so you were investing yourself and you decided I'm going to go after working with investors and make that my niche of what I'm going to do. Not that you won't work with anyone else, but you figured I love doing it. I have a lot of knowledge in it, and I'm going to go after that business. So I think that's fantastic. So can you, oh, and actually, fun fact, guys, she is sitting at, where are you sitting? Where are you sitting?
I am sitting in my client's latest investment. We closed about 2 weeks ago in Durham, North Carolina. Go Durham.
Mhm.
And yeah. And so I'm just doing some final touches here in this beautiful house that he's got here directly across from Duke Regional Hospital. And yeah, he's got some uh, clients that are ready to move in the next couple of days for midterm rentals. And so, yeah, I'm glad
That's
to be
awesome.
able to assist.
So live on site from an investor's house. I love it. Perfect. You couldn't work this out better. Had no idea. It was not planned. And so great. So you started working with or wanted to work with investors. So how did you get started? You get your real estate license. Said, I'm going to work with investors. What did you start doing to earn
So,
that business?
yeah, well, I wish it was that easy where I came right out and said, I'm going to work with investors, but it was not. I, got into the business and, of course, went through the pre-licensing, came out and said, okay, now what? And so it was a journey trying to find what my niche market was. First, I was like, is it going to be, new home buyers? And so I kind of plugged in that and stayed consistent with that and didn't really see much success there. And I said, I've got my background in investment properties. And so why not, speak to the clients and talk to clients about something that I know and I love and I feel passionate about. And so that's how that came to be.
Great. And then you recently got back from a trip from California. Why don't you tell us about that? Because that was specifically to go talk with investors at this expo. So that I thought that was really cool.
Yeah. And so my church has a location in the California in the Bay Area. And there was this expo that was scheduled to happen. And I was just all for it. I fully support my church community and I was glad to be a part of that. But also I've got a lot of contacts in that area that are interested in investing, specifically in the Raleigh Durham area. And so I was able to go out there, represent Century 21, Just Right Realty, and really put myself out there, was able to talk face to face, answer questions. I had my iPad, pulled up MLS. And so it was really, really an amazing experience.
And how many people did you talk to that are in your potential pipeline? This is a good number.
Yeah, so I was able to get about 30 contacts that are interested
Amazing.
in anywhere from long-term rentals, short-term rentals, multifamily units. It really was a worthwhile trip and definitely was great. Yeah, to
Yeah,
get
and
those
that's not
contacts.
something everyone can do, but what is cool about this and what does work is that we do have a lot of people either moving here or from like California and the Northeast, even like Florida, or they're wanting to invest in our state, in North Carolina and South Carolina because it's a great place to live. A lot of industries moving here, people are moving here, so it is a good place to have an investment property, and it's a lot more affordable than the states they're living in. So their money goes a lot further. They can actually afford to buy house and sometimes in cash because they're selling something in these expensive states and they have all this cash on hand. So It's whether you can, be a jet setter like Jennifer here and go out there and do that, or not. I think it's still a very good thing to do is talk to the people from coming from different areas that are making investments in our area. So I thought that's brilliant. So awesome. I know you're working with some of them. What are some of the other things that you're doing to attract and work with investors?
So of course, actually, I've connected with another agent in our office that's also an investor herself, and really had a meeting of the minds. I'll call it that. We met for coffee and just really talked, and it was really amazing experience. She told me about some opportunities to network. And so I'm looking forward to going to the next networking meeting that they have to meet, fellow more investors and potentially some more clients as well.
That's great. So collaborating with the people in our own offices, which is something we try to encourage because between all of you, you've got so much knowledge and experience to share with each other. And there's so many customers out there. We're not really stepping on each other by sharing. All we're doing is helping each other grow, which is fantastic. And I know we talked about you're doing some door knocking and FISBO and other types of things if you want to talk about that for a second.
Yes, yes. So definitely want to be sure that I'm available to provide services to all types of clients. And so for sale by owners, expireds, new home buyers, those that are looking to sell, get a vacation home, whatever the case may be, I want to, make sure that I'm, staying informed of what's going on in the community so I could best serve those clients when they do reach out.
Yeah, and so one of the things you talked about when we were going through, actually we did this before I messed up the recording, so this is round two, and we were talking about when you're talking with investors, you're reaching out to them more often, you're giving them information and staying in touch, not just sending them homes, but informing them what's going on in our market, what's going on in the economy, maybe developments and stuff that are happening, so that they know that it's a good time to make an investment or what areas to make investments in, correct?
Correct. I'm the legs on the ground, so to speak. And so if they're out of state, they don't know what's going on in certain areas. And, where are the homes located? Are they close to, the restaurants, shops? Are we close to hospitals? What's the distance to parks, trails? Things along those lines, things that are important to investors, because those are things that renters are going to be looking for when they're looking for a place. And so, we want to, I want to make sure that I'm providing value. And so just like you said, I don't want to just send, properties because they may look great, but what's happening around those properties? Why do they want to invest in that particular home? And so I take away all those questions that I know that they'll have. So that way it's an easier decision. Say, okay, that legwork's already been done for me. This is something I want. Let's go for it.
Yeah, that's great. And even though your niche is investments, we're not going to put everything in one bucket, right? We never do that. And we were talking earlier in the last video about you were doing some door knocking, which was great. Not cold door knocking, you were doing it warm door knocking. So we're going to talk about that for a minute because I think that's, we're salespeople. We're in the sales business. We're entrepreneurs. We got to get there and have conversations. I love that you're doing it. I'm hearing that more and more from our other agents. And it's a way to connect, meet with people. So I'm going to share a few things that you're doing with that.
Yes, yes. So, I mean, it's definitely outside of my comfort zone going and knocking on doors. But at the same time, I love people and I'm very, I love speaking to people and, conversing and whatnot. But if I have an open house coming up, that gives me something to talk about. And so I'll go and meet the neighbors in the area and say, hey, I'm hosting an open house this weekend. Why don't you come by, see what's selling in your neighborhood? If you have any friends or family that's looking to move in the area, bring them along with you. I'm going to have some great snacks, and so, kind of make it a little lighthearted and so that they want to come and be a part. But also with for sale by owners, for example, which is a new avenue that I'm trying to explore. I've gotten a note, my folder, and I printed out, staging tips, disclosures, mandatory disclosures that those owners are going to need, because they don't know, they're not working with an agent. They may not know, I should say. And so when I go there, I want to present myself as someone who's knowledgeable in the business and say, okay, well, if you're not ready right now, here's this folder. These are things that I think will help in the selling of your home. And, in the time to come, if you decide to go with an agent, here's my card and my contact information. I'll follow up with you in a couple of days, and, we'll go from there. And so again, I always want to make sure that I'm providing value to whichever client that I'm working with.
Yeah, and I love it. You're getting out there, which is important because as a newer agent, you can't just sit back at the office or at home waiting for things to happen. You got to go out there and make things happen. So obviously you're doing something you love, working with investors, and that's easy for you to go out and talk about. You love it, but you're not just stopping there. You're like you're putting yourself in places you're not comfortable with, because that's what we do. Entrepreneurs have to do things we generally don't want to do or we don't think we're good at, until we go do it and get practice and get better. And then eventually we get comfortable with it. Just like any kind of practice is going to do. And the other thing that I think you're really good at is social media. I think your personality comes across really well on social media. It's very genuine. People can connect with you. And I think that's important. It's not static. You have static posts, but you also do video and other things. And I think it's important. My own personal view is that you want to be informative, but you want people to connect with you. We're in a human business, and you want to say, hey, I want to work with that person. I like that person. So you want to share a little bit about social media with us real quick as we wrap it up.
Yes, yes, of course. Thank you. So social media, that's actually new for me, believe it or not. Although I present as comfortable on the camera, that's something that I had to work at. And so if you look at the first videos, first to 10, I would say it was a little like, okay, my name is Jennifer, but after a
Right.
while, after doing it for a while, you get more comfortable with it. You've got to imagine that you're speaking directly to your client. And so I think that before I hit that record button, my client's on the other side of this video. I got to imagine that I'm talking directly to them. And so if they were in front of me, what would I be saying? And so by doing that, I've gotten more comfortable. And, what is it that I would want to see on the other end when I'm online and I'm scrolling through? What would add value to me? And so that's what I'm trying to provide for my clients as well.
That's great. And I'm glad you brought that up like the first 10 times. I mean, we see other people on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and like, wow, their video is so great. Go back in time and look at their earlier videos, and they are usually tremendously better later, right? They got out there, they started doing it, and over time they just got better with it. They didn't worry about making it perfect to get started. They want to get their personality out there. They wanted to be available to be chosen to work with, and that's what you're doing. That's great. You just put yourself, it might not be comfortable at first, but I think we overthink things and we overanalyze and criticize ourselves. And generally speaking, it's not like we're out in person talking to people and we get to hit the stop button and start over again, right? When we start having a conversation in a group or with an individual, that's the conversation. And so you got to think about that way with video, right? If there's particular data point stuff you're trying to get through and you screw it up and you can start it over, great. But generally, when a lot of us, for times, we're just touring a house or we're just talking about something in general about a neighborhood, a little bit of human goof up is okay. It's genuine. It's expected, right? So
So
cool.
true. So
Anything
true.
else you'd like to close with as we get going here?
Well, I mean, because I'm a newly licensed agent, I will direct this to other newly licensed agents and say, don't give up, stay focused, stay disciplined, be relentless. And, even if things don't happen right away, keep your goal in view and work towards it.
Awesome. That's a great thing to share. And thank you so much for doing this. Really appreciate you. I appreciate you sharing with us, and you're having just a tremendous start to your real estate career, and keep connecting, keep grinding, and we'll see you guys next time. All right,
Thank
bye.
you. Thanks, Stephen.